Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Community Development and Renewal Agency of Herriman City meeting tonight. Just so everybody knows, if you're here, this is not our regular meeting. We've got a pre-meeting, I guess I would call it tonight, so we'll get to that meeting after 7 o'clock. So we'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with item 2.1, which is a public hearing and consideration of a resolution amending the fiscal year 2026 budget. Kyle.
Thank you. So as we start the year-end closing process for the financial statements, I have a few budget amendments I'm recommending for the CDRA funds. So this is for last fiscal year that just ended June 30th. So first, if we look at the Town Center CDA, as you notice, I'm requesting a reduction in taxes of $352,390. What that means is the actual tax increment received is less than what we were initially forecasting. I'm not initially too worried because we do have the elevated project that will be coming online in the next 2 years. And then after that, we did drastically in the forecast decrease the amount of increase we would expect since there will be only a few vacant parcels left in the town center area. On the expenditure side, as you can see, the participation agreements decreased. Due to that, this does also include the new participation agreement to Elevated Acquisitions, which is the developer of the Commons. And then the budgeted increase in fund balance is anticipated to decrease about $341,000. We will still have positive fund balance for the year, however. On the Business Center CDA, as you can see, interest did come in higher than anticipated. As a general rule, overall of the funds we do, budget interest very low because we don't want to rely on that as a source of revenue due to fluctuations in interest rates. And taxes, just a small decrease of about $9,700, which is fairly close to the amount that we had budgeted. You'll notice on the expenditure side, request a decrease in the participation agreements and then an increase in the transfers out. That is due to when we redid the Sorensen participation agreement, they did agree to reimburse the city for some expenses for water tanks that didn't materialize. So that decreased their tax increment they received. Looking at Herriman Anthem, as you can see their tax increment, which is under taxes, did come in higher than we had anticipated. And there was a corresponding increase in their participation agreement since it's based off a percentage of tax increment collected. It does also increase the affordable housing funds available because we did receive more tax increment, and that's based off of a percentage. And then overall, we do anticipate an increase in fund balance due to the increase in taxes. Turning our attention to the Innovation CRA, once again, we did have taxes higher anticipated. That's mostly due to personal property that was purchased by Bullfrog that is on the property premises. As you can see, we also did have an increase in our participation in mitigation agreements. Those are based off a percentage of taxes received. And of course, we also have an increase in affordable housing funds that we need to set aside due to the additional taxes received. Then finally, in the Herriman North CRA, we did make a projection, and this would have been 2 years ago, of what sales tax we would be collecting from Mountain View Plaza and then also those shops such as Garage Grill that front Herriman Boulevard. We are anticipating needing an additional $5,000 from the general fund to cover that sales tax obligation agreement. With that, are there any questions for me before the public hearing tonight? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Okay, seeing no comments from the council, we'll open the public hearing at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, we'll look for a motion to close the public hearing.
We'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
By Teddy.
Second.
Second by Matt. All in favor?
Aye.
For a motion.
Motion to approve resolution number R 2026-04, amending the fiscal year 2026 budget.
Motion by Matt. Second by Jared. We'll go Jared.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, that motion carries. We'll go to item 3.1, discussion and consideration of an amendment to the interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County for the Herriman Innovation Community Reinvestment Project area. Blake.
Thank you. Okay, so this is for the Innovation CRA, which is located on the, as shown on the screen. The only thing existing inside of the CRA right now is the Bullfrog manufacturing warehouse center out there. So the CRA was approved in 2019, was put together to fund the infrastructure for this development, which was considered a business park in the project area plan. Every one of the entities in the area sign an interlocal agreement and take a portion of their tax revenues to fund the infrastructure improvements as outlined in the project area plan. So this item is specifically for the interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County, and they are requesting that we clarify in the agreement that the Salt Lake County Library tax levy funds are not included in their contribution to the city. And then I just included some language here from the original agreement. So here's the wording they have proposed to amend the agreement. This was kind of understood. We haven't collected county tax library funds for the CRA. Working with finance, this doesn't impact the budget for the project area. And so there aren't concerns with this being done. This just clarifies and memorializes the county's intent for the agreement that wasn't captured in the original interlocal agreement. So with that, staff recommends approving this interlocal agreement amendment, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if you do have any, or Kyle might be more appropriate to answer them if there's questions about the impacts.
Any questions from council? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number R 2026-05, amending the interlocal agreement with Salt Lake County for the Herriman Innovation Community Reinvestment Project area.
Motion by Tara.
Second.
Second by Teddy. Tara.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
Jared.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes, that motion carries. Look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody. We stand adjourned, and we will start again at 7 o'clock. Good. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our city council meeting for Wednesday, July 8th. We love it when these chambers are full. We love celebrating our youth, and that's what we're going to do tonight. We always love celebrating the accomplishments in our community, so we're looking forward to tonight. We're going to start out tonight with a Pledge of Allegiance, and that will be by Gabriel Jimenez from our Youth Council.
All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Gabriel. Appreciate that. We'll go to item 4.2 on our agenda tonight. That's city council comments. Anything from council tonight?
Just like to talk about all the work and the success of our Herriman Town Days that we've had. And just want to express my personal thanks, and probably along with other council members, of all the hard work that goes into that, putting that event on, making it the event that it is. There's a lot of care and thought that goes into that event. So I want to, call out Lauren and her staff and other city staff. They put in a ton of time, ton of extra time to make that event what it is. And then also appreciate our public safety, to Sarah, Herriman City Police Department. I love seeing them out and interacting with the community. It just puts a smile on my face. And I love our police department, and the same thing with the Unified Fire. We appreciate their hard work in keeping the event safe. So thank you to all that put in so much effort for that event.
Yeah, I'll echo Matt's comments, especially with our parade. Our parade is amazing, especially compared to neighboring cities. It takes a lot to put on a parade and to run it safely, and for our pedestrians and our spectators. And that whole weekend was an amazing weekend. So thank you, staff.
Okay, see no other comment. We'll go to item 5 tonight, which is our public comment. I will say, if you are here tonight to speak to the trail vacation or the trail issue that we have on the agenda tonight, we're going to wait and let you comment later. So I know there's a couple of people here for that item, so we're going to have you comment during the item. So we'll do a presentation during that item, have public comment, and then we'll address that item. So if you're here for that, I would ask that you hold off your public comment now. But if you're here for any other item, now's the time for public comment. Audience members may bring any item within the city's purview to the city council's attention. Comments will be limited to 2 minutes. State law prohibits the council from acting on items that do not appear on the agenda. Public comments for this meeting will also be conducted electronically. Any person interested in addressing the council may submit a comment by emailing the recorder at herriman.gov or by visiting herriman.gov/agendas and minutes, where there's a link to fill out an online public comment form. Your statement will be incorporated into the public record. So again, if there's any public comment at this time other than for the trail, you're welcome to come forward now. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, my name is Maddie Clements. I've replaced Alex Johnson on Congressman Owen's team as a community outreach representative. I've met with a couple of you, but I just wanted to formally introduce myself and thank you for all the hard work you're doing.
Thank you, Maddie. Congratulations on your wedding. Maddie just recently was married as well. Doing good work, showing up at everywhere for us already. So thanks for being here, Maddie. Any other public comment tonight? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to item 6. We'll do our council reports. We'll start tonight with Jared.
Just from the fire board, please be careful. Probably saw the news today about the house fire we had I know we've talked about batteries before, but lithium batteries are just a huge, huge fire danger, especially in garages where it gets hot. Like the heat and even just a battery sitting there in the heat is just a fire waiting to happen. So please be mindful of where your chargers are. If they can be inside where it's air conditioned, much, much better for fire safety. And then of course, fireworks. I was out of town for the 4th, but it sounds like we kind of didn't have any major issues for once. Our fire numbers are down. Chief Whittison is out battling one of the wildfires, so he's not here tonight to speak to some of these things, but I'll just, from the fire board side of things, just beg and plead with people, please. No campfires, don't burn weeds. Be careful where you park. Don't park in a field over the top of weeds. Your exhaust pipe is gonna light a field on fire. There's just so much danger with it right now. So that's my only comments for tonight.
Thank you. Teddy?
Nothing to report at this time.
Matt?
Quickly, from the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy District, attended their trustees meeting this afternoon. The Reader's Digest version is conservation is working. They're seeing that in the numbers, so that's panning out, so keep up the good work there. Also, they still have the incentive program for the landscaping, the so-called Flip Your Strip. They are, asking for people to do that. I actually made an application a couple of weeks ago, and it's easy to do. It's straightforward. It's not hard. So if you have grass that you're not using, consider the incentive program that they have to turn that into some landscaping that is much less stressful on our water system.
Thank you, Matt. Tara?
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Tara. And I don't have anything to report today as well, so we will move on to our reports and presentations tonight. We will start with item 8.1, which is our 2026-2027 Youth Council Oath of Office. So we're going to do that with Jackie.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I wanted to take a moment to actually introduce our 2026-2027 Youth Council. They went through the application and interview process to that. I would just like to invite each member to come up and introduce themselves to the council and what school they attend, and then stay up here for the oath of office ceremony. Whoever wants to start, come on up. We do have 38 members this year.
Hi, City Council. My name is Gabriel Jimenez. This will be my 4th year on the Youth Council, and I am a senior at American Preparatory Academy in Draper, Utah.
Hello, my name is Sofia Jimenez. This is my 4th year on the council, and I'm a senior at also American Preparatory Academy.
Hello, my name is Hayden O'Pikins, and this is also my 4th year, and I'm also a senior, and I'm homeschooled.
Hello, I am Luke O'Pikins. I'm a sophomore, and I'm also homeschooled.
Hi, I'm Naya Cropsitcher. I'm a senior. It's my 4th year, and I'm also homeschooled.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Anderson. I go to South Hills Middle School. I'm a freshman, and this is my 1st year.
Hello, my name is Abigail Rowley. I go to Mountain Ridge High School. This is my 2nd year on the council, and I am going into my junior year.
Hello, my name is Enzo Morita. I attend Riverton High School. This is my 1st year on the council, and I'm going into my sophomore year.
Hello, my name is Charlotte Hodges. I go to Copper Mountain as a freshman, and this is my 1st year.
Hi, my name is London Swinson. This is my 1st year on the council, and I'm a senior going to Mountain Ridge.
Hi, my name is Savannah Balzer, and I'm currently going to Mountain Ridge, and I'm going into my junior year, and this is my 1st year.
Hi, my name is Leia Shree Premkishore, and I'm going to Corner Canyon, and I'm going to junior year.
Hello, I'm Angelo Palma. I'm an upcoming sophomore at Providence Hall, and this will be my 1st year in Youth Council.
Hello, I'm Riley Pugh. This is my 1st year, and I go to Mountain Ridge High School.
Hello, I am Wesley Gerke. I will be attending Mountain Ridge High School as a sophomore this upcoming school year, and this is my 1st year in the Youth Council.
Hi, my name is CJ Camerath. I'm going to Mountain Ridge as a sophomore, and this is also my 1st year.
I'm Mackenzie Cook. I'm a sophomore going at Mountain Ridge, and this is also my first year.
My name is Madison Hammond, and this is my 3rd year, and I go to Mountain Ridge High School.
My name is Elena Rios, and this is my first year, and I'm a junior in Mountain Ridge.
My name's Ananya Karthik. I go to Hillcrest High School. I'm a freshman. This is my first year.
My name is Jorge Villalobos, and I did Mount Ridge. I'm about to be a senior.
I'm Toa Finga. This is my first year, and I am homeschooled, and I'm going to be a junior.
I just wanted to take a minute and thank the youth for wanting to be part of the Youth Council, and we are excited for the upcoming events and their learning experience for this. So we'll start with the oath of office.
I, Gabriel Steinmetz, do solemnly swear that I will support, defend and obey the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Utah, and that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Great idea. You can go down. Careful into it, middle.
Thank you, Youth Council. I will say for everybody here that doesn't know what our Youth Council do, our Youth Council helps at events throughout the year. They go through a leadership training at Utah State that we join them at up there. They do we're doing a kickoff here at event in a couple of weekends here. They get to kind of get familiar with each other, some team building stuff. So they just do so much for our community, and just we get amazing leaders come out of this group. Gabriel didn't know how to talk before he got in, and now he just, I mean, you heard him. So Gabriel, we'd love to have you, man. So just the leadership that we see come out of this Youth Council is just unreal. So and the dedication and the service they provide to the city is just unmatched. So we appreciate all of you. So, and you have to stay for the whole meeting. If you're here for Youth Council, you do have to stay. You don't. You're ready to. You're welcome to leave now, Youth Council. So thank you for being here. You can stay, but I wouldn't. So we're just being real. We're just being real, right? So. Yes, go ahead, Tara. Yes.
I would just invite anyone who's here who hadn't heard the Youth Council that you're always welcome to apply the following spring. Our next spring will be when the applications will open again. So keep that in mind for you or others that you know. It's a great opportunity to meet other youth in the city and then learn about local government, be able to serve the city, and just have fun together. So.
Thank you, Tara. Tara's also our advisor to the Youth Council. So thank you, Tara. Okay, well, thank you, Youth Council. Look forward to working with you this year. Okay, we're going to go on some City Council recognitions at this point. We love doing this. So we've got a few tonight. Let's start with our Butterfield Scholarship winners. Let's start with, and Matt and Tara, I'm going to let you kind of run with this, but we're going to invite forward Sunny and Summer. If you two will maybe. Maybe go back there. Yeah. Do you guys want to talk about this?
Sure. So our Butterfield Scholarship is to recognize youth who are giving service to our community. I'm doing like a significant amount of hours. I think it's 24 hours on a service project that benefits Herriman and Herriman residents. And so we had a lot of applicants this year, and our winners definitely stood out. And so congratulations, and thank you for what you've done to help serve our city.
I would just add that it was my honor to be able to serve on the committee and to hear from you guys and all the fantastic things that you guys did in our community, continue to do, and moving forward. So it was an awesome experience. So, and you guys made it that way. So thank you and congratulations.
And I will just say, 2 members of our youth council, long-term members of our youth council, so we think the world of both of you. So you're amazing young ladies. Can you tell us where you're going to school, or what your plans are now? Because you both graduated, so what's...
So my name is Summer, and I'm going to be serving a mission in California this fall. And then afterwards, I will be studying humanities at BYU.
Fantastic.
This is kind of fun because me and Summer were always on youth council together, and my name is Sunny, and her name is Summer, and nobody could ever get her name straight. But I'm Sunny, and she's Summer. And I'm headed up to Utah State this fall. I'm going to major in international studies.
Fantastic. Congratulations, ladies. Thanks for both you, all you both do.
Thank you.
Look here. You're fine. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay.
Okay, the next one we're going to go on to, actually, we're going to do 2 Herriman High programs that, I don't know if many communities can say this, 2 national championship. National, we're not talking state championship, we're talking 2 national championship level programs here in our community. So we're going to start with our Herriman track, which kind of overlaps. If you know the track world, you also overlap into cross country. And this cross country and track squad at Herriman High, unreal. I will just say it, I hate seeing your coach leave. I hate seeing him leave, move on to Florida. But is Josh here? Josh, okay, there we go, Josh. So, Josh, I know some of their accomplishments. You can probably speak to them better. Do you mind coming forward and kind of going through? Because I want to hear about cross country too. We didn't do cross country in the fall. So talk about the track, there was just news coming out of the school every week. And you dressed up for us, Josh, so thank you.
That's right, yeah. I wore my Sunday best and wanted to just represent our team. I'll be taking over as the head cross-country coach, so we do have continuity from the program. I've been with our team for 4 years. I started with Doug, his first season as a cross-country head coach here at Herriman. And one thing I can say for sure is that these kids work hard all year round. So yes, like you said, track is a spring sport, but these kids are out in the winter. They're working out either at the oval or out in the cold all winter long. Then we've got the heat that comes in the spring and the summer. We're out here already doing cross-country practice. So the credit goes to the kids really for putting in all the effort that they do, maintaining all the little things like sleep, like food, like the recovery that it takes to perform at the highest level. So these kids really are amazing, and we're grateful just to be a part of the team, get to be able to present opportunities for these kids to succeed, and for them to learn the life lessons that come from both track and cross country. So last year we were state champions for 6A in cross country, and then we ran it back literally for track to take on the 6A state title for boys in both programs. We're working on our girls teams all the time. We're trying to get more girls out to compete because we want them to also get to that same level and be able to show off Herriman on both sides. Our team is not all here tonight, but we did bring a lot of kids out from the team, and then we also have a lot of assistant coaches that are not here as well, who train our kids up in jumps and throws. Our sprints coach is here, but then all that team came together to outscore the rest of the teams in the field. We've got really great programs in Lone Peak and American Fork. Quarter Canyon's been dominant in the past, but we had a good squad that really stayed focused and pulled it off in the spring. And it's a lot harder, to be honest, when you've got all those different groups trying to perform on the day versus in cross country, it's one team. We're focused on one thing. Sometimes with different teams, it's a little bit harder. So big thanks to our admin as well. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank them because they make it all possible for us to travel, for us to be able to have the facilities to compete well. And also thank you to you guys for representing our city and for making sure we have good places to run, safe places to run, trails to run on. We appreciate all of that. So that's our piece here. And yeah, just thankful for this team and what they mean, and just to be able to wear the name of Herriman, both, like you said, at the state level, but also when we go off to nationals in cross country, we get to pick the city name, and Herriman is right there on the middle of those jerseys. And we love getting to show the rest of the country who we are.
Love it.
Yep.
Can we bring your kids up? Anybody
Yeah,
you got?
absolutely.
Come on up. Anybody here with?
They really dressed up for this evening.
Yeah, I love it.
They're looking sharp.
I'm going to do this. Will you guys tell us your name and what event? And if you did cross country, both. Can you tell us who you are? And
I'm Jackson Spencer, and I do cross country in the distance events and track.
okay, hold on, Jackson. Tell us everything.
Okay.
Tell us.
All right.
Because we've talked about you here, so remind us about your.
Yeah, it's funny that I'm first, but yeah, I'm an individual 10-time national champion. So yeah, that's it's crazy to be on this team with everyone they've also won national champions, so it's crazy. So yeah, thank you guys for, again, like what he said, like giving us safe places to run and safe everything, good parks, good trails. So it's just been fun to be able to, it's been fun to be able to run for Herriman. It's been really good for me. So yeah,
Good.
thank you guys.
It's good to have you down here. Thanks, Jackson. Congrats. Stay up here. We're going to do a picture, Jackson. Don't go very far.
I'm Eli Wordle, and I do cross country and the distance events and track.
Thanks, Eli.
I'm Jordan Greensides, and I also run cross country and the distance events and track.
I'm Jacob DeHaan, and I do cross country and distance and track as well.
My name is Trevor Lounsbury. I do cross country and the distance events and track.
My name is William Van Tress, and I did the cross country and track and field distance events.
I am Cameron Johnson. I also do cross country and the distance events and track.
I am Caleb Brown, and I run cross country and also the distance events and track.
I'm Tate Love, and I do the sprints.
I'm Logan Coles, and I also do sprints.
I'm Crew Olson, and I also do the sprints.
I'm Dylan Aldridge, and I also do sprints.
My name is Jet Burbage, and I'm a sprinter.
Did you want to introduce your assistant coach, the other coach?
They don't know the graduation line. It's crazy.
Okay, we will move on to our next national champion. We're going to go to our rugby team. Jeff, and will you bring your team up? Coach Jeff, and go ahead and bring your team up. Bring them all up now, so anybody that's here. So this is the Herriman Rugby team. Got a few. And we know it's summer, right? It's summer. I will say I've known Jeff. Jeff was one of the first people I met about 5 years ago. We were actually going through the Olympia process at the time. And the Olympia was coming in, and I remember that developer approach was here and was kind of asking the community, what did they want to see? And that's when I got introduced to the rugby program and understood not just the quality of athletes that we were coming through, but the quality of people that we had in that program. And I talked to Jeff a little bit before. They had the opportunity, and I'm going to let Coach Wilson talk to a little bit more of that, but they met with the governor today. I just found that out. They just met with Governor Cox today, and he recognized them today as well. But this is their second time. Is this two? Second time as national champions, first time in 2021. Went back, and this year, I watched a couple of the games. It wasn't even close. I mean, it was just utter domination back there. I even got trash talked on your Instagram page by the kids from Yes. Yeah. So their comment was, I said, congratulations, boy, or something like that. He said, you're the mayor of Stupid Town or something like that. I didn't know, the trash talk was epic, right? It was, so I hope they're watching, they say, I hope you're watching. So it was something like, it was Stupid Town, so, but we're here, sorry, but we were recognized as national champions. So Jeff, just take a minute, talk about your program and just everything it means to this community, because I just love what you guys have built, so.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys having us here. We're a little sparse in numbers. We're kind of scattered to the wind. We actually have 4 players right now in Uruguay representing their country with the USA U18s, and that gives us more players on the USA level at this age group than any state except California, which is really cool. So they play their first game Saturday, and we're really excited for them. And then we, as you mentioned, we did get to meet with the governor this morning, and I think we had some guys with their work schedules that they could, they couldn't make both, and so forth.
They picked the governor, is what you're saying.
Look, I personally, I think that you're way cooler than the governor, but,
Did the governor mention them on social media?
Don't tell him I said that, though. I think he likes us right now, so. But, so it's summer. Guys are, scattered all over the place on vacations and all that kind of stuff. So it's, wish we could have more here, but really happy that we have our guys here that we do. And this is just an unbelievable group of young men. And we've known this for quite a while. They have been a great group of young men from a young age. Most of them have been with us for quite a while, and all they've done is win. And they're they're a very close group, and I think that's why we had the year we had, because you know, we're very much a family. We're very much, they love each other. They have each other's backs. This is a very, very close group of boys, and I think it really felt like they weren't, there was nobody on the field that was playing for themselves. They were, you really got the feeling that they would not let their teammates lose. They wouldn't let their teammates, you know, suffer that and go through that. And it was a very special year. It was, the games were not close. In fact, our average on the year, our average score was, I think, around 82-9, if we average the points scored and points against. Even the final was, I think, 32-10. It was gratifying. St. Ignatius is who we beat in 21. They got us last year by 3 points, really close game. We had a lot of guys returning that certainly, I think that game was a little personal too. There was a little bit of talk from their fans and their players last year that, so we definitely wanted to see them in the finals, and these guys, you know, they run toward challenges, and they want to be the best. They don't shy away from it. They want that opportunity. So that was wonderful. On a personal note, it was really gratifying because St. Ignatius is, so they're from Cleveland, which is where my wife is from, and she's in attendance tonight. I embarrass her over there, but that was one of her rival schools growing up. So you know, we got one for her as well, and I just returned from Ohio. We had a family reunion back there the last week, and so we had one of our relatives who's dating one of the Ignatius rugby players, and so so that was fun. But no, it was great, and we are the only public school to ever win nationals, and we're really the only one that goes and competes at a high level in the top 5 consistently every year. And most everyone else is a private school, and they're very well funded, and they have unlimited resources, and they go tour you know, foreign countries every year. Ignatius went to France. Our semifinal opponent, I can't remember where they went, but just about every school back there went and toured internationally during the season. And it makes me more proud of what these boys have accomplished, because being a club sport at a public school, you don't get the same, we're not allowed to get that same kind of support. It's a district rule, which it is what it is. We have to get support from other places, and most of that comes just internally, just making it work, and we feel like, hey, we've got more obstacles to climb, and that's going to make us stronger when we get there, and we have a longer way to go, and so you know, we feel like it means more to us. But one of those areas of support that we could not do without is the support of Herriman City. Because of our city, we have a home field that we can call our own, and I can't tell you how grateful we are for that, and I think that did make a difference in the season we had, our ability to prepare, to have those great training preparation practices. So, you know, Mayor Palmer and everyone with the city, Wendy, and everyone who helped make that happen. Again, we feel so loved, we feel so supported by our city. And really, you can't do this club sport thing at a high level without a community behind you. It simply doesn't work. And we love how much support, how much love we feel from our community. We feel like you guys are behind us. We're proud to represent you. We are very intentional about teaching these boys to be good men and good future citizens that are going to make this, continue to make this the great place to live that it is. So, and that's very important to us, that it's not just the stuff that happens on the field, it's having integrity and accountability and doing things the right way. And and being good young men first. And our mantra is we have to be champions in every part of our life before we can ever hope to win a championship on the field. And these boys certainly do emulate that in everything they do. And, you know, as coaches, this is not a difficult group to coach. This is a group that is fun to be along the ride for, and you just hope you don't screw them up along the way, because they're a special group of young men. They're going to go do some great things, and we're excited to see that. And we've got some good ones coming back, and so, you know, hopefully this isn't the last one of these. So, by the way, just as a motivational tactic, I don't know that I'd recommend this, but if you make a bet with your team that you'll get a tattoo, if you win a national championship, you have to follow through on that. So I bet our 21 team, and I finally paid up on it this year.
Wow, I love it.
And so, you know, this star's for 2021. I got to get the star for 2026 right there, so that one's coming. And, you know, hopefully a few more, but yeah, I was hoping they had forgot about it, you know, and they kind of kept reminding me. And, you know, we hadn't won one since. I said, I better pay up on that bet, and I did, and then we went and won the thing, so maybe that had something to do with it too. But, so hey, look, it does work as a motivational tactic. So, you know, Mayor Palmer, if we win one more, maybe that would look great on you.
We'll talk.
But no, thank you again for all your support. We love our city. We couldn't do this without you, so appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Boys, can you guys introduce yourselves and maybe tell us what position you play?
My name is Cannon Brinton. I was a captain for the team as well, and I play number 7. It's called open side flanker.
My name is Kemper Castro, and I play number 4, lock.
My name's Elijah Zarlingo. I play flank.
My name is Mason Crosby. I also play flank.
Fantastic. Congratulations, boys. Fantastic. Thank you.
That'll work. All right. 1, 2, 3. Got it?
One more, sorry.
Do that now too?
Just yes.
We do feel bad. We tried to do a parade for these young men, but they flew in from the national championships at 10:30 on a Sunday night. And Jeff said, like, I need to go to bed. So that's really what but really we didn't want to wake everybody up with sirens at 11 o'clock at night on a Sunday night. We thought we'd get a few more complaints. So But next year, that's what, no matter what time you get back next year, we'll do it, so. And I'll get a tattoo. Of Teddy's face, of Teddy's face. Where?
Can I pick where?
No.
Should we put that in the minutes, Mayor?
Put that in the minutes.
It's on the record.
Put it in the minutes.
I second.
So let it be ready.
Fourth, yes.
Yeah, make sure that was
He doesn't scare us. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it. Tell everybody else hello, too. One other thing I wanted to mention quickly tonight was the winners from the parade. Wendy mentioned this, and thought this would be great to mention as well. So we did some entries, some parade winners. So first one is the Community Pride Award, and that went to Providence Hall. The Best America 250 theme float was the Sandy City. We appreciate all the cities bringing their floats out. The Community Choice Award went to the Herriman South Stake. And then the Best America 250 themed entry went to the Columbus Center. So thank you to everybody. Like was said, our parade is unmatched. So been to a couple others, and our parade is just, so thank you for everybody that participated. So, okay, thank you everybody. Okay, we will move on to, didn't we decide to cancel 8.3 on the agenda? Mike wanted me to. We're gonna go to 8.3, the Mountain West Chamber of Commerce presentation. Heather, we'll turn to you. Welcome, everybody.
Yes.
You made this longer and longer so that I got to stew in it. But anyway. Mayor Palmer, City Councilman, members, staff, thank you so much for the opportunity that I have to be here tonight to present in behalf of the Mountain West Chamber. It truly is an honor. For the last 28 years, the Chamber has had the privilege of serving Herriman, Riverton, and Bluffdale and the surrounding communities. And throughout those years, we've learned something very important. Communities don't happen by accident. They're built with intentionality. They're built by city leaders, for-profit and nonprofit business leaders, community and school leaders, and the residents that choose to work together. Tonight I want to spend just a few minutes talking about how the Mountain West Chamber is working alongside the City of Herriman to strengthen this community. People often ask me, can you hear me okay? Okay. People often ask me, so what does a Chamber of Commerce actually do? Got a slideshow here. There we go. Thank you. And the answer is easy. We do networking events. We support ribbon cuttings. We showcase nonprofit organizations. We have members offer perks to each other so that they can create sales opportunities. We celebrate businesses of the month. We have learning opportunities and growth for leadership, women in leadership. This is the vehicle. This is how we do what we do, but this isn't what we actually do. What we actually do is build relationships that strengthen communities. And we need to be careful about the way we do this because some of our chamber members are small business owners, and they're not big box stores. They're small chamber members, they're small businesses, and they need to have a voice that is equal and puts them in a room that allows them to be the authority. We believe that successful businesses build stronger communities, and stronger communities create opportunities for everyone. This is kind of a slide of and kind of a synopsis of what our chamber does and what we hold to be important. My opportunity this year, at the beginning of the year, I took over as the chamber president, and that gave me an opportunity to kind of think through what we do, talk with the board, figure out what was the most important thing to us, and every single one of us came up with service and the opportunity to build philanthropic events that support the community and support the citizens. So we focus on things like our scholarship golf tournament, celebrating educators who build tomorrow's leaders, honoring heroes who put other safety before their own, championing small business successes and connecting the residents to the businesses. And these aren't separate programs. They're one strategy: investing in people and creating strategic partnerships to build our members and our communities and strengthen our community. Because sponsorship should be more than just putting a logo on a banner. Every sponsorship should have a story attached to it. Whether it is a student encouraged, a business milestone celebrated, a first responder recognized, a nonprofit strengthened, or a family served, the return on the investment, this is the return on the investment that we want for our businesses and for them to be able to experience this. One of the numbers I draw your attention to is the 1,600 volunteer hours that are invested through the Mountain West Chamber programs. Those aren't paid staff hours. Those come from business owners. They come from volunteers, from our volunteer board of directors. They come from our community partners. They come from people who simply care about where they live. They're building communities by mentoring business owners, sometimes talking them off the proverbial ledge. They help develop leaders. They organize nonprofit paloozas. They volunteer for city and community events. They create business collaborations. They spend time to share and post on social media because we all love doing that. They create connections to help businesses grow, and these hours become scholarship hours. Every one of those hours represents someone choosing to invest in people and change lives to celebrate the community and to strengthen the community. I'd like to tell you one specific story about one of those lives. This year we had the privilege to award a scholarship to a remarkable young woman who graduated from Herriman High School. When she was in the 10th grade, her father passed away. Her mother succumbed to chronic depression, and suddenly she and her brother were on their own in trying to figure out how to make life work. Eventually, they left school because they needed to go work and find a way to survive. For many people, that would have been the end of the story. For her brother, it was, but not for her. She decided that her circumstances would not define her. She chose to work, to go back to school, to find a way to buy the packets that she needed to graduate. And this spring, she graduated, the first person in her family to do so. She graduated from high school. And now she is determined to become the first person in her family to graduate from college. The Mountain West Chamber had the privilege of presenting her with a $1,500 scholarship. Will that scholarship pay for her entire education? It absolutely will not. But it tells her something far more important. Your community sees you. Your community believes in you. Keep going. Those moments are possible because our local businesses choose to invest in something bigger than themselves. Over the years, our chamber has awarded more than 68 scholarships and over $86,000 to resilient graduating seniors, not those seniors who have a high grade point average, not those seniors who would otherwise be able to get those scholarships, but to kids who have turned their lives around and have found some way to come out of that on the other side. That's community impact. When people think about the Chamber of Commerce, they often picture an organization. And chambers are different things. Different chambers are different things and do different things and focus on different things. I appreciate that about them. When I think of the Mountain West Chamber, I think about people. Our chamber isn't defined by an office. Heck, we've had to move a couple of times even this year. It is defined by businesses like the Sports Connection, making sports affordable so that more children have the opportunity to play. It's Lee's Market, who provide local jobs, supporting schools and serving families that they've known for years. It's City Publication, connecting residents to local businesses to encourage them and grow the local economy and it reminds each of us every time that flyer comes in our mail, supporting small business matters. It's Disharm Wealth, helping their neighbors prepare for retirement, college, and life's unexpected moments. It's King's Music Foundation, providing affordable music and dance program to empower Latino children and preserve cultural traditions. It's AFS Flooring, building relationships one customer at a time while continually investing back into their community. These businesses are not trying to be America's biggest businesses. They are trying to become indispensable to the community that they call home. And that's why they chose our chamber. Here at the Mountain West Chamber, these businesses are known. They're valued. They're invited to mentor. They are not little fish in a big pond. They become the expert in the room, sharing their knowledge with other business owners who are facing the challenges that they once faced. We've intentionally created a culture where businesses help support one another. Because when one business succeeds, the community succeeds. One thing I've learned while serving in this role is that cities can't build thriving communities alone. Businesses can't either. Chambers can't either. It takes all of us, and when we work together, that's what happens. So I said I just took over recently in the beginning of January, right? And we had the opportunity to look back and see some of the things that we've done and see some of the things that, in areas that we could improve. One of the things that we've decided to do is create a Mountain West Chamber Foundation so that we have the opportunity to create some sustainability for the scholarship program that we have. We're excited about it and think it's the right answer to the question. It also gives businesses an opportunity not just to support us with their marketing dollars, but to be able to support us with their charitable donation dollars. And if we truly are a philanthropic organization, that's where we should be. That's where we should be. We should be supporting, and where we should be drawing that. We've also instituted some sustainability practices and building out our programs. We don't need more things to do. There are plenty of chambers that that some of our members can go to and enjoy. When I very first started, I also had a relationship with the Salt Lake Chamber of Commerce. I love their Women in Business Center, the Women Business Center up there, and I learned so much from some of the things that I did with them. It was super helpful to me. But the most important thing is not what happens at that room and in those events. It's the relationships that are created when the event is over. One last thing I wanted to close with is that at the Mountain West Chamber, we don't measure success by how many members we have, how many people show up at our events. In fact, we like to be careful about putting the right people in the room so that our members have the opportunity to connect with those right people. What we do is we measure the success of how many lives that are changed because businesses choose to be involved. Every scholarship awarded, every teacher recognized, every first responder honored, every volunteer hour invested makes Herriman a stronger place to live, a stronger place to raise a family, and a stronger place to own a business. Mayor and council members, thank you for the trust that you've placed in our chamber over the years. Thank you for the leadership and the countless ways that you support this community. At Mountain West Chamber, we believe every successful small business has the capacity to improve the community around it. Our role is simply to create the relationships and connections to make that possible. When we work together, everyone succeeds. That's the Herriman we're committed to building. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of that. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you, Heather. Questions for Heather or the chamber? Comments? Love your team, you know that.
Yes, I have a
Love
great
all of you
team.
here, so.
And lots of support tonight, so I'm
Yep,
very
love
happy
that.
to have that.
Yeah, there's a couple people out there. I love the main events you guys put on, the teacher appreciation, the Night of Heroes, and the golf tournament. It's always a fun event, every one of those, because it is truly those people that make up the community. So appreciate that.
Thank you. They are awesome events, and we love having your support. We are so grateful for the support that you give us and continue to encourage us. I would invite you if you want to. We have a bunch of events. We have not done, as I've noticed, the best job in reaching out via email and letting you guys know what's going on. So that's one of the things we're working on, our CRM and revamping our website. That's one of the initiatives that we've done to be able to communicate our story to people better. So watch out, because your email boxes are going to get some stuff. But we have a member appreciation event that we have on the 20th of July. It's at Fat Cats from 3 to 6. I'd love to have you come throw a couple of bowling balls down the lane, eat some pizza, and visit with us.
Can we throw them at Mike?
I was going to say, yeah.
You know, I don't run the rules at Fat Cats, but we could always have them turn their backs.
If I beat him, will you get a tattoo? Done deal.
Fair.
He didn't say they had to be permanent, right?
Yeah.
I didn't hear the word of a permanent tattoo.
Yes.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you, Heather, and your team for what you guys do. All of you, Heather, of course, all of you here, just think the world of all of you. You know that. Just appreciate all you do in our community. Love seeing you out, and thank you for all you do for our corner of the valley out here, and especially those small business. We've talked about that, focusing on the local, so we appreciate it.
It's an honor.
So thank you, Heather. Appreciate you all being here. So. I knew that was coming. We're good, Mike. We're good. We love you guys, but I'm out of steps for the day.
Next Wednesday.
I love it. Thank you all for being here. Okay, we're going to go to our consent agenda. Look for a motion on the consent agenda.
Question with regards to 913. Did that just get pulled, or is that still in the consent agenda? It's still in it? Okay. All right.
That was it, meant to add it.
Okay.
That wasn't in there, so we had to add it.
Motion to approve a consent agenda as written.
Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Teddy. We'll go Jared.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
I'll vote yes. That motion carries. Okay, we'll go to item 10.1, a discussion regarding a petition to vacate the public trail near the Rose Creek Estates subdivision and direct staff to implement mitigation improvements. We're going to do it. Bryce, welcome. And again, for anybody here to make public comment on this, we'll have a presentation, then we'll do public comment, and then we'll continue.
Okay, good evening, council. We have discussed this a few times, but I'll do a quick update and background summary to kind of get us back up to speed where we are today. So this area, as many of you know, is off of 134th near the Rose Creek Estates neighborhood, just north of 134th, west of 5600 West or Rosecrest Road. So a while back in July of 2025, we received a petition from the property owners along this trail to consider vacating the trail. And that was signed by 13 of the 16 property owners that, the residential property owners along the trail. So in discussions in city council meetings, the council directed staff to investigate what it would take to vacate the trail, what are the impacts, and what really would that entail. Later, we came back in February of 2026 to discuss the trail again and what it would mean if we did vacate it, how would we do it. And we discussed, okay, we've gotten input from those immediately on the trail, but we haven't gotten feedback from the rest of the community, kind of the wider reach of where this trail might impact. So we sent out a survey and got feedback from the rest of the community to say, hey, do you use this trail? Are you in favor of closing the trail? Are you opposed to closing the trail? And then in March of this year, we came back with that information to say, hey, generally the bigger radius, the larger scope, the neighborhood is opposed to vacating the trail, but there are kind of mixed results there. all along, we've been hearing from the residents that are immediately impacted by the trail, the ones that immediately are adjacent to the trail, the impacts that they have felt from loitering, trash, security issues, these issues of a dark corridor that isn't always, the best place for pedestrians to be. Since that meeting in March, when we continued the discussion, city staff went out and did a little bit more investigation with the situation, what mitigation measures could be, and additionally a survey directly to the residents adjacent to the trail. So this is the step back that we did back in February, the larger community survey results that we posted a QR code on the trail. We held a community meeting where we had QR codes and asked everyone to give us their feedback on the trail. So again, this is the bigger neighborhood that you may have seen this already, but just wanted to bring everyone back up to speed. That the greater neighborhood, about 60% of the respondents were opposed to vacating or closing the trail, with 30% in favor of closing the trail, and then about 10% that didn't show, either way. They either just asked questions or were neutral towards it.
Bryce?
Yes.
What was the number of votes on there?
I had a feeling we might ask, so I asked John to pull up the survey results. Even though they are a few months old, John might be our better one to answer that than me.
Number of comments, there was 25.
Okay.
So then, like we said, we had the meeting in March and discussed, okay, let's zoom in. If we are going to vacate it, we kind of need to know how we're going to vacate it, who's on board with it along the trail, who's not. Is there a consensus along the trail of those that are, immediately impacted? And this is a little bit updated from the staff report, these numbers, because we did add in the orange number or portion grew, the neutral or did not respond. Because the survey was still open when we did the staff report, we didn't have the did not respond number finalized. So that did not add or take away from either in favor or opposed. It did just add to the neutral or did not respond. So these are of the 16 property owners immediately adjacent to the trail. We posted a survey and tried to contact them directly as much as we could to give us a survey about this project. And the responses indicated that the majority still supported vacating the trail, but we didn't get as much as the petition gathered, which was the 13 versus the 8. We also wanted to know, okay, if we do vacate the trail, would you prefer it to be down the middle so it goes to both sides, or all to one side? It was divided, as you can imagine, that there wasn't one consensus on that. I think there was willingness, to discuss both ways for most of those that were in favor of closing the trail. The next step that we brushed on last time, there was, again, very willingness to participate in the cost to close the trail, which we'll talk about is mostly plat amendments that we would go and have a surveyor redraw kind of the boundaries and record it with the county. There were some respondents that said they were only supportive if they were not required to contribute financially. There were others that said, I would contribute financially to this project if it meant that the trail was closed. So there wasn't necessarily a perfect consensus on that either. And to be fair, the survey was kind of step by step, so it wasn't. There was a lot to it, and we didn't want to post exactly on the map who said what. But generally speaking, there were some on both sides of the trail that were in favor and opposed to the vacation of the trail. And then these are the numbers out of the 16 that responded. Any questions up to this point on that information?
when we say some respondents support only if they were not required to contribute financially, what number is that some?
Okay, so yeah, according to my, because we had 4 that didn't respond, so we don't have the answer of those, but of the ones that were in favor of closing the trail, we had 3 that were in favor of the trail, but not in favor of being able, or in favor of participating financially. Okay. So of the 8, 3 said, no, we wouldn't participate financially, if that makes sense. So if the decision is to continue to go down this road and vacate the trail, close the trail, there are 2 options as we've discussed. Splitting it down the middle and giving half of the trail corridor to each adjacent property. This would be a little bit more complicated on our side as far as cost, and it would require more signatures because it would require a signature on the plat for each property that's impacted. And so it's 3 plat amendments to do that, which is a little bit more costly. And then again, just the logistics of having every property owner sign before we can record that plat, because it is affecting their property. Now, they're gaining property, but it's still a requirement for them to sign. Now, the other option to vacate the trail is to vacate the trail entirely to one side. I will say, if that is the option, to the west side is a little bit simpler in the fact that it would only require 1 plat amendment. It would be a little bit cheaper, and it would only require signatures from 9 property owners. Now, again, we don't necessarily on either side of the trail have a full consensus that everyone said, yes, we're in favor of vacating and closing the trail. So there might be some complication there. But then vice versa, if we did it all to one side and it went to the east side, to the homes on the east side of the trail, it would require 2 plat amendments because there is that commercial professional office area at the bottom of the trail on the east side that it would also require updating that. And we really haven't gotten any feedback from the commercial or the professional office area, the property owners there, but they are generally harder to, contact and track down who has the authority to sign for that. So it would be a little bit more expensive, and it would be a little bit more work to track those down. But again, kind of comes down to the same thing. We don't necessarily have a consensus all the way down on that side either. So,
quick question on the plat. I believe I asked this question last time, and I think the answer was the west side. My question is, when the subdivision was really put in, where was it platted, right? So the trail was originally platted 100% on the west side.
Yes, so yeah, when the subdivision came in, I believe it was phase 7A is on the west side. That is how the trail got dedicated to the city, was with that section of the subdivision. When it was created all these lots, it also created the trail corridor that was dedicated to the city.
One follow-up question. So I know it only requires 9 signatures on east or west, but it still impacts all 18 of them because now they'll have a neighbor directly behind them rather than the trail.
Yes, it's an impact to all. The property line changing is what the plat requires a signature for, that if your property line's changing, you have to sign that. So if you did pick one side, yes, you're right, it's impacting both sides, but the property line's only changing for the side that you're giving the trail to or vacating the trail to. But yeah, good point. With that said, I kind of simplified the recommendation that, based on the greater community input and the lack of full consensus on the vacation on either side and the complication of who pays for what, our recommendation as staff is to continue to have the trail, retain the trail, and implement a few mitigation improvements. We recognize these won't address all of the concerns that have been brought up, and frankly, Not, unless there's a significant investment in the trail, there's not a lot that can, mitigate every concern. But we can, we've already talked to our parks crew on, moving this up on the maintenance priority list. We can also install gates. They're more like bollards than gates in the fact that they just don't let larger vehicles, side-by-sides, cars in. They'll let, a pedestrian. It'll even let, a bicycle in, but it limits, the more larger vehicles from getting on the trail. And it also helps kind of, we heard about the concern of people, jetting out of the trail and then kind of coming right out onto 134th and then going into the road. So it would also, slow people down if they're on a bike like that and have to fit through, and then they would hit the sidewalk and go from there. Then we also heard, this kind of goes with the increased maintenance, that there's a lot of weeds, and it just is not a great looking corridor as you go down. It's been, an afterthought. So in addition to maintenance, we have a stockpile of recycled asphalt millings at the Public Works Yard. Now it's not a perfect solution. We know, no matter what we do in Herriman, weeds will come through, but it does slow down and give the crews, a chance to keep up with the weeds, that we put those millings on the shoulder of the trails and shoulder up the trails a little bit. So that's staff recommendation. I can answer any questions now and after the public comment from anyone.
More questions from council now?
Yeah. Did you happen to look at the fair market value of the land that the city would be giving away?
No, not necessarily. In some discussions, we are currently purchasing property on other projects for roadway widening and right-of-way, and we know what the value is there, generally what we're paying for, so we could get a pretty good idea. Just in generally speaking, on our projects, we're paying about $15 to $17 a square foot for property. Now, obviously, there's more factors because we're buying property to make it as a road. In this case, if we, looked at selling the property, there'd probably be some more factors of, okay, this is only going to benefit one or two properties, right? So the market value for that might be a little bit lower because, it's not really open to the entire, city to purchase. And so, yeah, we haven't gone into a detailed analysis. We could do that if the decision is to move forward with the vacation before we have the public hearing and the official decision on that.
Okay. Thank you, Bryce. At this point, we will move on to, take public comment on this item. Reminder, 2 minutes for this item. State your name if you could.
Hey y'all, I've been here a couple times, so Adam Jacobson, know y'all well, so appreciate all you guys do, honestly. I know we have a little bit of frustration on this trail, but just remember, like Bryce said, going to one side, phase 7A is the logical piece. It ties to the plat, that's what it was originally intended for. The one thing I would say about the questionnaire, there was a lot of question, that's why you might have got some odd responses. All of the questions when it came to how much would you be willing to pay, it probably was just a little error. No amounts were ever showed to anybody. So it was like, what would you be willing to buy for it? So just food for thought on that one. But if you really look at the amount that we're talking about, it's $2,000 divided by 9 properties on the 7A side. That's $225 to just pay for the plat change. So I'm sure, I've talked to all the residents, so you're all aware on the 7A side, everyone signed that petition. And the one that didn't is in this room and wants to sign, wish they would sign the petition. So you're aware, that side is solved. And again, we're talking $225. That's like 2 water bills in Herriman. So being realistic, it isn't that much money. I just want to point out, simple, clean fix. Related to closing the trail, it requires 2 people to install 12 feet of fence. I'm one of them, and the other one is Luis. Both of us actually started the petition, so you're aware, because the current city ordinance does not allow us to put privacy fences in. So because of that, that's why we're trying to put the privacy fences in. Currently, we are the only ones that are, a lot of them are they're following city ordinance. City is still struggling to actually enforce that city ordinance. So besides all of the maintenance, and I would just say, I've lived there for 23 years. We've spent lots of money, keep trying to fix it. It's not working. This saves 60 seconds from the city. When you walk from my house through the trail or around on the actual public infrastructure, it is 60 seconds. The city's wasting a lot of money here. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks for the little jab about the water rates, though. Thanks. Thanks.
Oh, I also should have said, last thing, remember the whole intent was 134 is going to widen. That's the real purpose.
Thanks, Adam.
My water bill is way higher than that.
Wish mine was only 100. Any other public comment? Yeah, go ahead.
Scott Lathrop. Was I the guy that didn't sign? Oh, okay. We need to hang out more, I guess. Yeah, I'm on the other side of where Adam is, and it would be great if it were just gone. I have a picture of a shopping cart that was thrown into my yard. There's tons of trash that come through there. It comes into my yard. Kids once in a while will just kind of jump the fence and randomly throw things into other people's yards. It would be wonderful if it were gone. And hopefully not just blocked off. Yes, that's gonna fix some of the problems, but yeah, anyway. We're done dealing with the issues that come with free reign from 134th to the neighborhood that a lot of kids are using to do things that are less than enjoyable. So, thank you.
Appreciate it, Scott. Thank you. No, you're good. You're good. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Craig Estano. I'm on the west side of the trail as well. I do support its closure. I have privacy issues with the trail back there. There have been times when I have noticed juveniles loitering back on the trail, and I just think it would be an improvement if it was closed.
Perfect. Thank you, Craig. Thank you. Any other public comment on this item? Okay. Do I need to close that? No, I could just, that? Okay, okay. I'll turn to council for a comment.
I know I got a couple of emails from people who back different trails, and they said, well, they would love to have an increase in their acreage too, that they valued having a trail there and didn't want to set the precedence of closing a trail, and wanted to preserve that access. So I think that's some things that need to be considered, setting a precedence and giving away city property. I think that's problematic, to give city property away to just a certain group of individuals. I'm sympathetic. I have walked the trail. I think it's lovely. I did use it to connect to other trails and to other sidewalks. So I would hope that we could leave it open.
Other thoughts?
Adam, I got your email, thanks. I read through it, and I kind of knew what you were getting at with through the presentation and what may have been missing or not included. But seeing this several times, when I moved into my property, it was just cornfields behind, but now I have a trail directly behind my fence that's actually caused damage to the HOA fence and so on, so on. So I get shopping carts all the time in the HOA property, and not in my backyard, so we have privacy fences, but I had no choice. That trail was going to go in regardless unless I fought the whole subdivision, but I didn't know any better when I moved in. This trail was already there in the subdivision when you guys moved in, so you knew it was there. And for me, Mayor, I would have to have all 18 sign off along that trail. I'd have to have 100% consent because, like I mentioned with Bryce, it affects every property, even though it's platted on the one. Some of those neighbors may love that trail, may love not having neighbors behind them. Some I know drove their truck down to do maintenance in their yard, right? So those things we can inhibit and correct, but I would have to see a consensus on it for me to say, to close it down.
Jared, Matt, comments?
Go ahead, Matt.
I'm of the same kind of philosophy as Tara and Teddy in that I feel like I would want consistent consensus from all the affected properties before I would consider getting rid of the trail. And then for me personally, though any cost associated with the change would have to be borne by the property owners, and then the property owners would have to purchase the property from the city, simply because just from a precedent standpoint and with other things that have happened with the encroachment issues that that we've had to deal with, and we we had to treat everybody exactly the same with those situations, and those types of things factor in from what we have done in the past and the precedent moving forward. So given all of the circumstances that are presented at this time, I'm thinking, mitigation is what we're looking at.
How did I do that? In at least in my experience, we've had a few of these come to us over the years. They're all unique in their own way. I'm usually the first one to speak about setting a precedent for things. I'm concerned about not just this one, but what it means to all the others. As I've looked at this and some of the others, there are some stark differences. This isn't an open trail, right? It's not going up the mountain. It's not next to a canal or the Copper Creek. We just call it the dry wash. That's over there. I've never seen any water in it except for a picture that somebody sent me one day with a couch. With a couch, yes, the couch picture. But it's not open to anything. So as I dug into this one more, I look at it as, all right, so what's the purpose of the trail? Is it serving its intended purpose? Personally, I don't think it is. When these were put in, a lot of them were intended as equestrian trails. They're definitely not that anymore as everything's been developed. Is it connecting point A and point B? I don't see it connecting anything. It's going from an interior road to an exterior road. It doesn't connect to a park. It doesn't connect to anything else. It literally is an alley behind these people's homes. Its proximity to some businesses and parking lots, et cetera, only increases the nuisance level of it. So I just try to put myself in other people's shoes, right? If I lived along there, I would hate it. All 18, like if the survey were worded differently and said, if we were going to close that trail, would you be in favor of it? Versus if we were to close it and it cost you something. I think the answers would probably be different. I think just about anybody that lives back there would sign up saying, yeah, I'd rather it not be there. So I think sometimes I have a hard time with surveys in general because the way the words or the way the questions are worded generally get the outcome they're kind of designed for, whether intentionally or unintentionally. To me, like, what's the purpose of it? I don't think it's serving a real purpose. If we're wanting to, I don't know if we can put the map back up again. Sorry, I'm looking at it on my computer from the presentation. But if we're trying to make a trail that connects to other trails, it doesn't. There's not a single trail that it connects to. It doesn't connect to the park. If we want to have a shortcut, say, to those businesses, we just walk down to the end of the street to the park and you go to those businesses. The worst case would be that you have to walk around to that's Freeman Lane and use the sidewalk to go back the other way. I mean, If it's kids walking down to get a soda or fast food or something, I don't know, extra couple minutes of walking is probably a good thing. And to be on the actual infrastructure, we're starting to have issues with safety and the e-bikes and all that stuff with kids whizzing in and out. So I just don't think it's serving the purpose that it's intended to. I think it's very different from all those things. Devil's advocate in me then says, well, property issue. Some of the other trails that we've talked about are just easements across property. So it was easy to lift the easement. Those property owners already owned the property. There wasn't a property issue of any kind. This would be, yeah, that was actually signed over to the city and the city owns the property. In my time, I've had people ask all the time, we want to extend our, so I'll give all the pet names for neighborhoods. Copper Creek, down in like the northeast corner of Herriman. It was actually part of the county when those homes were built and then were annexed into Herriman, so they were really kind of one of the first neighborhoods. But they've got kind of the dry wash thing going on with Copper Creek and kind of an extended area, and I've had over the years countless residents ask me if they can just extend their property, and the answer is always no, because we don't like that. It's an open area, right? We're not just going to give you property because you want it, and that, I don't think that's the case here. If we do this, if we were to do this and sign it over to them and just have them pay the $2,000, like that's all that it costs us. It will cost the property owners much more to then adjust their fence lines and tear up the pavement that we've put in there and all those things. Like they're going to assume costs to do all of those things. Once it's signed over, we don't have, that's not up to us. That they would have to pay for all of those things. So we say cost, I'm not concerned about the city selling the value of the property. As was pointed out, no one else could buy it. And it doesn't fit the criteria that we face with some of the other trails, like I just mentioned, where their property just abuts to an open area and they're just wanting to increase their acreage. None of these people are wanting to increase their acreage. That's not what this issue is. So I've just kind of added the pros and cons, right? So what's the problem that we're trying to solve? All the nuisance issues. If I lived along there, I would absolutely hate it. So then try to put myself in the shoes of someone else who maybe uses the trail. What if it were closed? What would that mean to them? I would use the sidewalk. I have dogs. I walk every day. Yeah, I can't run anymore because my back is horrible. I used to run 3 miles a day, but that doesn't happen anymore. I use the sidewalk to get down to the trail that goes along Copper Creek. So I'm personally, I don't think that any of those issues kind of override the nuisance issue that all these people are dealing with, and a convenience to get from an interior street to an exterior street, that it's only at a sidewalk and is it a T with 134th. I don't see the sense in keeping it really. That's kind of where I'm at.
Any other comments to that?
Just a follow-up comment on the survey. I think obviously I'm sitting with the same survey aspect as you. That's why I wanted to know the volume or the parties of it. But the petition went door to door several times from the local residents, and I don't know if there's personality issues or understanding the pros and cons, but they weren't able to get the consensus with themselves as well. So if they brought in a full position, I would be sitting in a different seat, on a different position on it.
Well, Jared, I will say I truly don't disagree with anything you said. I brought that up the first meeting. This trail does not, I agree, I don't understand it, right? It doesn't connect to another trail. Kind of, maybe if you jog across the street, it can connect to that other one, right? We've talked, Adam and I talked about that. I don't understand the use of it, right? I understand the nuisance. So I completely agree with everything you said, Jared. The only thing I'll push back on, this is just, and this changed my whole perspective of this when we walked out of here. Tara asked me, just walking out here the last time we talked about this is, I can't remember what she said. She asked something about it being city property and how it compares to all the encroachment we just dealt with. And to me, that's what changed this for me, because I was all about it. I was completely supportive last time of closing this down, but for me, that discussion, I think, complicated things, because I don't think we should give away city property. I mean, we kind of, I know it's a different situation with what we talked about before, but I don't think we should just give away city property. I think we have set a precedent as a council by saying no to everybody on these encroachments. Everybody that's asked us on these encroachments, if they can buy, they've all been, I think most of them have been willing to buy city property. Like, we're willing to buy that. There's nothing behind it. I know it's not exactly the same, but to me, it's still similar. I think we kind of look like we're taking two different positions on selling city property, because there are issues. Some of those encroachments I looked at, and there was no reason we couldn't have sold that. We couldn't have sold a piece of property behind an area. So I just, for me, that's honestly kind of where I'm torn, because if this was an easement, again, like the last one we dealt with, that's an easy decision, 100%. That's why that last one was, I voted for closing that other one. It was an easement. That's where I'm torn on this one, because it's city property and I don't know. And then I go back to the other, we're dealing with that, the park strip up in Juniper, right? And we tried to get those neighbors in that area to decide whether they wanted their yards extended or not. And we couldn't get a consensus out there. So it was going to create this, this kind of zigzag property line. Some people were going to want to buy more property into the park strip, some weren't. And I think that was just going to be just an awful look, right? I think that was going to be inconsistent, create more maintenance issues. I worry about that happening here if we do that. If we don't get 18, that's where I'm kind of, if we don't get all of them, what are we going to do if one person does it, and extends their yard, and we get this empty piece of trail just in the middle of the neighborhood, right? I see that happening here. I truly see that happening, unfortunately.
Well, and as far as that goes, for me, it would make sense just to do it to the west side. That's how it was platted. And once it goes to them, it's only dealing with the 9. And like I said, they have to pay to move their fences and whatever.
Right, but again, if they
choose not to, though.
If they choose not to, then. So I just think, because I do think that'll happen. I think some won't, and so I think you're going to have this empty, which I think is going to create weed issues. They think that's going to create issues in that area, even though they would be responsible to. There's code enforcement that could come into place. Yeah, that's why I'm not. I'm truly kind of torn on this. I'm not. That's why there's both perspectives here. So that's just something I want to put, because I do see both sides right now, actually. So.
Well, there's always two sides to everything. That's why the 5 of us get to vote. And there's an odd number of us, right? We've all expressed how we feel. Yep. So are we looking to do a formal vote? Or just kind of do a head nod?
Well, let's do so far I've heard, again, I'm not trying to push it either way. I'm just trying to, instead of the no's versus, I think I've heard 3 head nod yeses to keep it open. So I guess I would look for a motion that way, and then if it goes the other way, we can make a motion that way. So I guess I'll look for a motion that way.
Make a motion to deny the petition to vacate the public trail near Rosecrest Estates subdivision and direct staff to implement mitigation improvements.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Teddy, a second by Matt. Let's go, Tara?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Teddy?
Yes.
Jared?
No.
And I will vote yes. So that motion carries 4-1.
So as a follow-up.
Yes, go ahead, Jared, follow up.
So if we're not going to close it, then I do think that the point that's been made over and over about the fences and our inconsistent ordinance needs to be addressed. Either we're going to enforce it, which I don't think is realistic, or we need to change the ordinance.
100% agree.
I would be on that same boat.
Yep, no issue with that whatsoever.
And I think we need, to me, I think there's a bigger issue here. Chief, we've talked about, I think we can add some enforcement there. I would like to see the bollards. Just everything we talked about in there, I think we need to take some steps.
In a timely manner.
Because I think these are absolutely legitimate concerns that I think we need to, I think that's incumbent on us to fix those concerns.
So what I heard was you want us to bring that back to a future meeting, an ordinance change
Ordinance. And then as far as the mitigation efforts, right? Really the only thing that's realistic that we can do is the gates or bollards. So we just would want to know what the recommendation is there.
I believe the recommendation is gates similar to what we have in the other parks on trails. Correct, Bryce?
Yeah, you've probably seen them. They're kind of like a triangle gate, the black ones that, limit how much space is actually available to go into the trail. Again, restricting mostly, motorized vehicles and other larger things from entering the trail, so, yeah. Yeah, and our parks crew actually builds those in-house, but the $1,000 is for the materials. It's, metal that they're putting together, so.
What is the timing on making those mitigation implements, like with the asphalt or in the bollards?
Yeah, so we'd have to talk to our Parks Department, but yeah, they said they've done it before where it's a couple months to get everything together and put it in, so I would imagine that's about your time frame on that.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then I would also encourage you to call the non-emergency number if you do see activity out there that is not good, right? That's worrisome or vandalism or whatever. And so that we can document it and then also get help too.
Question on the ordinance change. Is that something we can specify certain areas? Or so it's not a broad, wide sweep?
Correct. I mean, the issue is we have an ordinance that doesn't allow certain type of fencing along trails. I think we'll have to bring that back, and that's not just going to be us, here's some language. I think you're going to have some conversation about that, but we'll need to do it. We also could simplify that ordinance because it has some complexities in how you interpret it.
It's in Title 10 too, so it'll have to go to Planning Commission and there'll be a public hearing on it.
Yeah.
Can we do is there a mechanism to do a special ordinance or a temporary ordinance to cover this area?
We could do a temporary ordinance, but I think there would need to be some sort of discussion from the council to get direction on what that pending ordinance would look like.
And that would still have to probably go through the same process.
Okay. You would just worry on the timing of getting all this done through planning and stuff like that, just on a temporary basis? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, from my information, there's only 3 or 4 houses that do not have a privacy fence. That would be bring them into compliance, everybody that has a privacy fence, and then the other members could get their fence in under their own direction.
I think because it would be a code enforcement item at that point, it'd just be quicker to just go through Planning Commission and bring it to this body and change it than.
And it's not just this one. I mean, if you look at, there's another trail right on the other end of the neighborhood. It's the ones that are enclosed by houses.
Yes, exactly. Even newer subdivisions, we're seeing the same, people want their privacy even though there's a trail in between their lot and their neighbor's lot.
And I think in some of the newer subdivisions, those privacy fences are going in at the very beginning. In the earlier parts of Herriman, we were putting the 3 or 4 rail fence in, and those were being replaced. That we've talked about a lot. We will prioritize that ordinance. The fences we dealt with a little bit about materials, but there's a lot to be desired in that current fence ordinance.
And we have been trying to avoid putting these trails in newer subdivisions. We had a PUD amendment come in for the upper section of the Cove last week, and we put the access to the trail where it had large, wide, open space access points instead of putting a trail between lots.
Yeah, we need to tell developers no, because it looks good when they sell it to people, right? But the utility of it is not.
I agree. Okay, well, thank you, staff. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Okay, we'll go to 10.2, Notice of Pending Ordinance to amend Section 10-16-1 of the Herriman City Code, Table of Uses for the following land uses in the manufacturing zones: Conference and Reception Center, Charter School, Vocational School, and Reception Center.
Thank you. I don't have a presentation for this item. It's just rather quick. I also didn't include fences on this. I should have. I didn't foresee that, but. So just staff's recommending that the council approve a resolution to give notice of pending ordinance to amend the code sections related to the manufacturing zones. Purpose for this is, as we've been seeing our explosion in commercial growth, we've received applications and seen uses in the TM, M1, and M2 zones that aren't consistent with the purpose stated in that zone. For example, in the M1 zone, we allow reception centers and charter schools, but the purpose of that zone is to provide areas in the city for uses such as research, development, office, data centers, light manufacturing, fabrication, processing, storage, warehousing, and wholesale distribution uses. Reception center doesn't really fit that bill. So we're looking to go in and just revise the use table for several uses that don't seem consistent with the purpose in the TM, M1, and M2 zones. So this is just a resolution to give notice, and then we'll bring this item back for those specific changes later.
Okay. Look for a motion.
Motion to approve resolution number R22-2026, providing notice of a pending ordinance to amend to Herriman City Code 10-3-6, land use definitions, and 10-16-1, table of uses relating to certain land uses in the TM, M1, and M2 zones.
Motion by Matt.
Second.
Second by Jared. We'll go Jared.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. That motion carries. Go to 10.3, amending the public infrastructure governing documents for Olympia PIDs 1-7 and amending the interlocal agreement between the Olympia PIDs 1-7 and the city of Herriman. Nathan.
So there are several things that are happening with PIDs, as you are aware. The item before you tonight, there are two things we're trying to do. So there'll be two actions. I think that's how it's listed. One amends the PID governing documents to come more into compliance with what the state auditor believes they should say to show that they are separate entities from the city, so that we're not going to be responsible for dealing with all their finances. And even though you have no control over what they're doing, the auditor has made some findings that perhaps we should. So this specific language is supposed to address her primary concern that shows that. And then the other action is changing the agreement we have with them. In the MDA with Olympia, we agreed to collect the contract fee. This is an agreement that says how we do that, and one of the concerns we had this last year is they wanted to change the number. They just sent it, like, change it tomorrow. So we said, you've got to give us time. We need to understand you have to go through it. So this cleans that up. So looking at Todd, was there anything else that got put in there? Because this was a lot of conversation about this.
No, just a clarification that this is the interlocal agreement that we're making the changes to, where it talks about that contract fee.
Correct. And then I believe they're also creating the PID 2, or I don't know which PID. They have 7 PIDs, but they annex. So there was a big property description change. And I think that's because when you approved them, they were these little postage stamp size PIDs. Mm-hmm. And then as they use them, they move them and annex them or grow them. So that's also what this is doing. So any questions? I can attempt to answer or get back to you if I don't know the answer. With the PIDs, it's just kind of a moving target right now.
Yes. Nope, I think we're good. I'll look for motion.
Motion to approve resolution number R23-2026, authorizing an amendment to the governing documents for the Olympia Development Public Infrastructure District.
Second. Motion by Jared, second by Teddy. We'll go Jared.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. That motion carries. One more motion.
Motion to approve resolution number R24-2026, authorizing an amendment to the interlocal cooperative agreement between Herriman City and Olympia Public Infrastructure District 1-7.
Second.
Motion by Jared, second by Teddy. Jared.
Yes.
Teddy.
Yes.
Matt.
Yes.
Tara.
Yes.
And I'll vote yes. That motion carries. That brings us to the conclusion of our general meeting tonight. Future meetings, Planning Commission meeting on July 15th. 2026. Next city council meeting will not be until August 11th, 2026. We do have 2 truth and taxation hearings coming up, both August 12th, one at 6 o'clock for the safety enforcement or the police, and then one at 7 o'clock for the fire service area. Events coming up, Hungry Herriman Food Truck Roundup every Monday out front here at 5 o'clock. We are closed for Pioneer, we are closed for Pioneer Day on the 24th. We do have a couple of events that we didn't put on here. The Community Center ribbon cutting is July 16th at 2 o'clock, along with a senior event at the same time, pie and root beer. So that'll all start at 2 o'clock. The old City Hall, which has now been remodeled as a community center upstairs. And then the Yeti Foam Party, one of the funnest events I think we do, is July 20th at 5 o'clock. So any other events we're aware of? I'm not aware of anything else. So at this point, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.